It's time for Cutting Edge Consciousness with Freeman Michaels and Barnet Bain. Thought-provoking discussions and bold ideas from the edge of possibility.
And welcome back to Cutting Edge Consciousness. Freeman Michaels here with Barnet Bain. Wow.
Well, let's talk about him behind his back.
You know, this full feeling, full body experience of the tragedies in Connecticut, really allowing ourselves to be in a state of hurt and confusion and all that comes up with, you know, being fully present, as Bill was saying, present in a way that's an offer. I'm willing to feel this. And you mentioned this as well, because, you know, that's, I think, what this moment in time, the opportunity, from my perspective, is to feel it fully and to allow ourselves to be changed by it. That is where change occurs.
However it is that we are changed.
Yeah.
Yeah. I watched the ceremony the other night, the memorial the other night, and it was incredibly moving because there is so much power in the shared emotion, in the shared grief.
Yeah.
And there's something about a community that allows us to more deeply experience whatever it is that is there, that is coming up for us to experience. And so watching people on camera in that community holding each other and hugging each other and simply being with each other, particularly when they're doing so quietly.
Yeah.
It's incredibly, incredibly powerful. And as I said at the beginning of the show, the flip side of that, which doesn't seem to be as helpful, are some of the pundits that I've heard, and some of the sometimes I've seen people attempt to make it better, or to find silver linings, or to hook it up.
Well, it's cutting
events.
off the feelings. I mean, this rush to fix it. I mean, I have that tendency. So again, as the world is a mirror, I see it reflected back to me in the tendency to want to rush in and fix it, to say something that'll make people feel better. They're not supposed to feel better. I mean, I'm outing myself. Even that first post that I put up on Facebook was a rush to say, you know, as you put it, the let me play the expert because there's comfort in that role, versus allowing for the complexity of all these feelings to come up and not rushing in and trying to fix it.
Yeah, it's so messy. We did a show. It's so messy, and we did a show some time back. I think it was called Battlefield Poets.
Yeah.
And we should dig that out and repost that. It had to do with the realness, the authenticity that comes in these extraordinarily challenging circumstances that collapse everything about how we approach life, that just blow away all of our conditions, all of our habits.
That's it.
All of
our self-perception. I mean, the whole thing of the Battlefield Poets is the genius in that comes out of these men that often have like a 4th or 5th grade education, and yet their language and the wording is coming through them in a way that their construct has been broken down. And often we experience a breakthrough once there's a breakdown, because, you know, we hold this together too tightly.
We see this even now. There is a genius in the capacity, in the loving. There's a genius in the loving that we see on our television screens and in the radio. The care, the genius that we have as human beings to care for each other, to relate to each other, to be mirrors for each other.
There's the oneness.
There's
the breakdown of the separation.
That oneness where we allow ourselves to experience what is going on for another.
Yeah,
that is such poetry.
That's so soulful, and
That
it's
is so soulful.
and it's so sacred.
As we said, the soul shows itself in these times of extraordinary stress and pain. It also shows itself in times of great joy.
Right.
Now, that's not to say that the soul is not present in the great in-betweens,
Right.
but it is in the great in-betweens that our desire to control and to be mental and to be strategic or to be experts, in the parlance of what we're talking about today, interferes. It gets in the middle. Our egos get in between the mystery and who we can really be.
And I love that you said that's the sin. And sin, I mean, the word itself, and I think this has been mentioned before, is an archery term which means to miss the mark, to miss the opportunity to be more fully alive, to go towards something. And again, when we crunch it down to bad or good, we miss the greater opportunity. And that all of us have within us these tendencies towards something that's less than the potential. That is included. That's included. So, we've made a commitment here on this show to go to the edge, to out ourselves, to be as human as we can possibly be in service to something that wants to come through me. Going back to Battlefield Poets, again, that breaking down of the construct is a sacred experience where something yet unknown can emerge through that. And collectively, that's the larger opportunity in fully feeling as messy as it gets.
As a guy who is pretty smart, has operated relying on that for almost 60 years, I know firsthand that what is my personal edge is not to be found there. And that what makes me most fully alive and present to be a witness for events without armoring myself off from them is not to be found in my critical thinking. I'm not saying, as I said earlier, I'm not willing to abandon my critical thinking, but I am relegating it to a different position of authority in my life. There is a much bigger picture than can be known by my critical thinking.
Well, so look, the openness to recognize the limitations. I mean, how many ways in my own life do I get to see where my desire to control it vis-a-vis logic and reason, to figure it out, to sort it out, to give the answer is robbing me of the opportunity that, again, the mystery allows for. Let me just sit in the discomfort. Let me train myself to practice not knowing so I'm not so quick to move into that space, because it's a disservice to myself and those I love.
And to others.
That's my point.
And there is a time, and there will be a time, to do the sweep up. There is a time to do to engage the mental function and to go down the checklist and to do what is necessary, and to have the dialogues and to have the discussions and to take the actions that are necessary. There are times for those kinds of implementations. They have been elevated in our past experience. They have been elevated to such a degree that they trump everything else.
Yeah.
And I think what we're talking about here, it begins in our own hearts as individuals, we each individually make the choice to shift the axis, to shift the poles from being head-driven to being heart-driven. From coming, it just is a redress of the balance.
I was going to say balance. At the very least, a rebalancing so that there's a fullness and a depth to my experience. It's a full body experience. It's no longer just my body carrying my head around. It's an opportunity to be more present and more real, ultimately more trustworthy in myself and others, more available. And that's the gooey good stuff. That's what makes the whole thing, in my experience, worth doing.
Absolutely. So you have a little bit of a dramatic, very dramatic FM voice there, or is it just a cold coming on?
No, let's go with the first interpretation.
Are we moving from AM dial to the FM dial?
If
Or
I
is
can
this
keep,
just
if
a,
I
are
can
you
keep
trying
this
to
frog
tell me
voice
something?
going,
Yeah,
then maybe we'll make it.
maybe you're trying to suggest something.
No, I may be coming down with a bit of something, but we're not going to go too far into that because I don't want to feed that one.
Yeah,
hey,
we
listen,
have a
big event, so we got to talk about it. So,
Yeah.
Birth 2012, as our guest mentioned, is today. For those of you listening on Unity FM, it is today, Friday, December 21st. We are part of an incredible Birth 2012 celebration.
And this show will be broadcasting live from that event, and we have many hours of broadcasts lined up for you.
Incredible
with
guests.
Incredible guests.
Unbelievable.
Like?
Such as we have Michael Beckwith, we have
He's a good one.
Lisa Nichols.
She's a good one.
Yeah, we have Marcia Weeder.
She's a good one.
We have some beautiful segments, conscious relationships with Gay and Katie Hendricks. Let's see what else. We have a music piece, The Transformational Quality of Music with Freddie Ravel and Ricky Byers-Beckwith. Boy, there's more.
There's
We
a
have
lot of
visionary
hours
artist
of cutting-edge consciousness.
Lou Gossett.
Radio.
We have Lou Gossett and
Gossett.
Tina Lifford, 'cause some amazing actresses talking about the big lies
Yeah.
that we buy into. Look, it's going to be powerful. I invite you all. If this is going
We're putting
to
together the cutting-edge consciousness treasury. It's like, those things that they are always constantly in the middle of the night. There's constantly this country music treasury. That
like
if you act now,
Lifetime, Life magazine greatest hits
yeah,
album.
I'm just planting that seed.
It'll be the greatest hits album. So we want to invite you. This is going to be, we're going to be coming to you live from the Agape Spiritual Center in Los Angeles, vis-a-vis the Shift Network. The Shift Network is sponsoring the Birth 2012 celebration. We invite you to tune in. So you can go to the Birth 2012 website, which is birth2012.com. You can check us out there. All of this, by the way, will also be going up on our Facebook page. So if you have never been to our Facebook page, get there.
Get there, like us. We like to be liked. I never tire of reminding you. Check out, please, our friends at the OWN Network.
Oh, right, our
Super Soul Sunday. So
friends.
check out that
and by all means tune in. Listen, I want to cover a couple other pieces too of the celebration. Once we do this, we're also going to have, as you were mentioning, kind of a library going up. So we know that the Unity station will be covering some of that, and we also know that it'll go up on Birth 2012. So even though they're going to do clips live, and I think the full segments will be at a Power Me TV. If that's not accurate, there will be ways to access the full segments. So
some of that will be here on KBTA, on
Yep.
KKZZAM.
Yep, we'll be able to rebroadcast parts of the conversation here. But what I invite you to do, sort of most of all, is visit the Cutting Edge Consciousness website and become part of our community. We promise we won't send you lots of stuff. We don't. We really just send you the most important stuff in terms of where we're going to be and what's coming up lately. So, again, a couple places where you can get the information, but also join the community. So, Facebook page we love. That's a great way to get information. But the most valuable resource is to go to Cutting Edge Consciousness, www.cuttingedgeconsciousness.com. It says join our community. You can put your email address in there. We don't share that. That is only for our internal use to share.
And we'll send you some gifts.
We'll send you some gifts.
We will. We'll send you some gifts.
What do we say? No, I'm just kidding. We'll figure that out. Yeah, we do.
No, we
have your ebook and we have some other things. That's right.
A new book of mine. We have a book of Freeman's, and we'll send you some gifts.
Yeah, we'll send you some gifts. So again, thanks for tuning in. We invite you to come back again and again and again, and we especially invite you today to click over, find some of that stuff. It's today and tomorrow, Friday and Saturday, 21 and 22 of December, and enjoy the content. Thanks for listening.